extreme threat may be. Here's Alex with Dr. Navarro.
Yeah, something that we need to be concerned about, or at least watching for. You know, we've talked about the travel being big this time of year. A lot of people out there on the roads, and so flash flooding issues could be a possibility.
Yeah, that heavy rain never makes for a good commute. We already saw the traffic starting to pile up across parts of the south, and we are looking at that potential today. A pretty decent chance of seeing some flooding in a lot of these areas, because look at the moisture that's coming in with this system. These are the current dew points, and we're already into the 70s here along the coast, and you can see they're up into the upper 60s as we head a little bit farther north away from the Gulf Coast there, and it's already contributing to a lot of heavy rainfall. Here's another look at the radar. Those yellow and orange areas showing you where the heavy rain is now coming down into southern Arkansas as well as central and southern Oklahoma. Playing this radar out for you again, just notice that a lot of these areas stay in the yellow as we head towards tomorrow morning. This is going to be very heavy rainfall and potentially training thunderstorms, which is storms that continue to generate over the same areas for periods of time. So, Alex, getting out on the roads both tonight and tomorrow morning for the commute is going to be quite messy, especially if you're taking a couple hours to drive, maybe going to visit your family early on. This is going to be messy, and it's going to spread off to the east by tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, so it could also add time to that commute. By the time all is said and done, you know, we've been talking about the areas that are getting the rain are those that need it, as long as we can get it in a spread out fashion rather than all at once.
Yes, this area has been suffering from an incredible drought since the fall really began. But looking at where this is falling, we are expecting that heavy rainfall to come into the area, but it's going to be coming across some major highways here, I-40, I-20, potentially I-55 between Memphis and Jackson as well. So that travel issue is going to be big with this system.
All right, something we'll definitely keep an eye on. Dr. Navarro, thanks. Mike, over to you.
All right, thank you both.
For some wintry weather, but before we get into that and the what, we've got to talk about the setup.
Yeah, and it's an interesting setup here. We've been talking about this cold air that's going to be coming down across a good part of the eastern U.S. along that jet stream. That jet stream separates cold from warm air, and it's going to be interesting to see the battle that plays out there. So let's go ahead and let's take a look. There's the cold front as we get going into the weekend here, cutting right up across New England. Warm moist air to the south of that and the cold air to the north of it. And what is going to happen is it's going to set up this battleground here where we're going to have rain on one side of this frontal boundary, and it's going to transition to snow as we get north. Right. And that transition area is going to be maybe over about 40 or 50 miles. And it's amazing to see what controls that in the atmosphere. And it all has to do pretty much with the temperature and moisture profile of the atmosphere.
Yeah, because we're not just talking about warm here and cold there. Instead, the layers of the atmosphere can be various temperatures. And that's really critical when we talk about what we see precipitation-wise.
Yeah, so I thought what we do is, being in the lab here, let's go over to our sky profiler. We're going to bring that up now. What I want to show you is the profile in the atmosphere. And what we're going to start with first.
But again, big travel week, people out there on the roads trying to get to a friend, family member's house. And some areas, you may not be familiar with the roads, which can make that flooding an extra danger.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something to keep in mind as you head into traveling to see your family this week, because we are going to be dealing with a lot of weather, both in the form of rain and snow as we head towards Christmas. We've got a lot of moisture right now across portions of the south. Very high dew points now creeping up farther north as that air is being pulled up from the Gulf of Mexico out and ahead of that low pressure system that's moving in. We've got lots of activity on the radar in terms of rainfall. The yellow and oranges here in the southern parts of Arkansas here, south of Little Rock, and even into the Oklahoma City area. Very heavy rain coming down at the moment, which is likely going to be continuing for the next couple of hours. Notice how Little Rock remains kind of in the yellow area here for at least until the end of the night tonight into the early hours tomorrow. We could be seeing 3 to 5 inches of rain in some of these areas before it spreads off to the east. And Tennessee, basically the entire state, also gets some form of moderate to heavy rainfall even through the day tomorrow. So by the early morning commute, places like Birmingham, maybe even farther north into the Atlanta area, we could be dealing with some issues just trying to get to work tomorrow. So this system is slow moving and is quite potent in terms of rainfall.
Absolutely. Rain for areas that need it, but if you get too much too quickly, that could cause some issues. Dr. Navarro, thanks so much. You know, it was the most active hurricane season in the U.S. since 2005. We had record-breaking and historic landfalls that left a trail of destruction and changed lives forever.
Join us tonight for an encore presentation of Hurricanes 2017. Cruel and Unusual. Meteorologist Jim Cantori hosts the action-packed one-hour special, taking you inside the storms, analyzing how and why they were so devastating.
Plus, the dramatic human interest stories that feature those who endured the catastrophic hurricanes. Here's your first look.
Something along those lines, right?
We got it. I think we nailed it.
I think we did. Doesn't show signs of stopping.
Everybody's very simple with their Although ice
very
wasn't really in the
succinct.
poll, but because we knew, honestly, we knew ice.
I think if we put ice in the poll, it would have been the runaway winner.
Probably would have taken it, right?
You think so? All
Well,
right.
when it's a substantial write-in vote, you
There
know
you
it's
go.
doing it.
There you go.
All right. Well, time now for you. Careful though, whether you're driving
Regardless.
the car or the sleigh.